TGON and AspMedia brings you Asphere's Cafe. The cafe is now open.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Asphere's Cafe. Today is Monday, February 2nd, 2026, and yes, we are back with another episode of our cafe where we will be doing our tech news right here on Asphere's Cafe. So, as you can see, I am the only one who is in the stage tonight, and that is because most of our viewers or listeners from last week moved over to DZEX because the return of the 5 Quarter Plus 2 is on air already. So, yeah, uh, we may not get the same vibes as last week, but but the show must go on, as we should say right here. Okay, so how are you all doing so far tonight? To those who are watching on our Discord stage or over on YouTube live stream as well as on Facebook live stream as well. So yes, in fact, we are live on Cool FM and As Radio as well as on social media platforms via Facebook on that is at TGON Cool FM Manila and on YouTube via Asphere's Cafe as Media's YouTube channel. Okay, without any further ado now, let's get my screen share up. Okay, so our first topic in our cafe is well. It looks like the video game companies are experiencing a video game stock crash as they are saying right in front of me. So this was posted on Blue Sky and that goes by the user Shinobi602. So you can see 4 major gaming companies, Take-Two, Roblox, CD Projekt, and Unity are suffering from the stock crash, and that is because of Google's new AI project. It is called Project Guinea. So you can see, yeah, it's a massive blow. Yeah, it really is a massive blow. Oh, that's why it's laggy. Let me just turn this down. Alright, there we go. Okay, so as you can see on my screen, you can tell that Google announced the project Genie or Genie, as you can see, which you can tell it caused a lot of video game companies stock to crash, which I just showed to you earlier. But yeah, so you are seeing right here, this is the example where you can use this AI tool to create your own visual by just typing a prompt like this. Like, yeah, see? Yeah, this is how it works. You could even do that. Yeah, you could even do that. Now, if you look one of the examples, this is coming from Justin More, where they used the same set tool to recreate an early 2000s blockbuster, and this is the example right here. Can you even tell if this is real? But man, like, bro, how can you even do that? Isn't that what you call this AI world right here, where you can even replicate it perfectly? And if you go to the next example, you can see that you can make it into a game and you are a fish. Look at this. Look at this. You can jump and you see there's a chef right here. Oh yeah. Look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. You are controlling it as a fish, huh? Again, you are controlling yourself as a fish. Look at that. Next. This is the crucifixion of Jesus Christ right here. Yeah, see? They can generate it like this. Yeah, they can generate it like this. Now, the next one is worrying. Yeah, next one is very worrying because, look, they were able to replicate a Zelda open world just by using the same AI tool. Look at this. Look at this. You can even replicate the Zelda open world. This is coming from Breath of the Wild. It's pretty obvious. Like, can you even see the differences there, right? Like, man, it's really how are they so good? And well, I'm pretty sure Nintendo isn't gonna be happy seeing this. Well, I do understand from what I have watched in Young's latest video that Google is actively blocking the request that can trigger a copyright infringement. But this one is not a case because you can see this. You can see once again this is where you can see Zelda and the obvious similarities to the Breath of the Wild open world style, right? And well, I knew it. As you can see, I'm not able to show you the video right here because it has already been disabled by the time of live stream, by the time of producing this episode. And if we go to the quotes, you can see that people are really happy how this is heading to. Created and it's just stolen. There are so many people calling out. They're like, yeah, what is this? Now, if we move on to another one, this is what Gen Magnetic generated, and look at this. You can even tell this is. If you can even tell the character design is inspired from Dragon Ball. Look at this. Yeah, look at that. How can you do that? And how does it work? He just said this. I made the start frame with Google Nano Banana Pro, loaded into Genie with Summer Prompt, and that's it. Yeah, sure. And now as we read the reply, yeah, garbage. We are saying it's garbage. Yeah, just reuse stuff from the Dragon Ball Kakarot game. What game is it changing except for more AI stuff? Oh yeah. Anyway, so that is the examples of Project Genie, and well, as expected, they aren't really happy how this is going. But yeah, it is a tool where you can generate your world. Yeah, you can use it's a tool where you can generate your world. But again, it has some problems because as you saw one of the examples, as you saw from one of the examples, they were able to take the assets that was from various games like Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Dragon Ball, while the rest is pretty much what you would expect when you say something, right? But yeah, what do I think about this one? Well, it's a bit mixed reception. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a bit mixed to say the least. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the Project Genie from Google, and along with the effect that that game companies have their stocks crash thanks to that. Well, let us know in the comment section down below. And well, all I can say is that, I am not expecting anything at this rate right now. All right, now speaking of Project Genie, well, We are talking yet another AI news, and according to Windows Central, Nvidia CEO denies reports he was unhappy with OpenAI, reiterates plans for huge investment. But how much will it be? So let's read it right here. OpenAI is on the hook for hundreds of billions of dollars, but profitability today seems like a total fencing. Well, how can it survive more investment? Of course. Following reports that various companies, from Microsoft to Amazon and SoftBank, are all looking to help prop up the struggling ChatGPT maker, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang recently felt questions about its own firm's involvement. OpenAI is facing huge pressure from Google Gemini, whose research and models have beaten OpenAI not only in general benchmarking but also efficiency. Google Gemini exists within a company that controls the entire stack, from server tech to models, the research, and then endpoints. OpenAI relies on inefficient and complex partnerships with third-party companies such as NVIDIA and Microsoft in order to operate. Now, many of these deals don't exactly favor OpenAI particularly well, sealed in the company's early years. OpenAI has also been struggling to get users to actually pay for its services. Despite having hundreds of millions of monthly active users on ChatGPT and its other products, the vast majority of those users are completely unmonetizable. No wonder why they're shuffling advertisements on its cheaper paid subscription that goes with the tier ChatGPT Go. Now, OpenAI has been flirting it with including ads and product recommendations to build revenue, but doing so risk exacerbating ChatGPT's exodus to Google Gemini and other competing products. Yeah. Speaking with CNBC, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said that reports from that his firm was unhappy with OpenAI were nonsense. Jensen Huang was responding to reports that the chip giant and the world's most valuable company was exploring a $100 billion investment in OpenAI. The reports began circling last fall, although the investment never materialized. Why? NVIDIA was reportedly unhappy with OpenAI's business model, which on paper doesn't seem like a surefire thing to the untrained eye. NVIDIA apparently disagrees. So this is what Huang said in his statement, quote, "We're going to make a huge investment in OpenAI. I believe in OpenAI. The work they do is incredible. They are one of the most consequential companies of our time, and I really love working with Sam." Huang said that Sam Altman is still working on OpenAI's latest investment round, with some reports suggesting it could come with valuations of anywhere up to $830 billion, which would be record-breaking. Huang also said, but denied reports that it would be anywhere near the previous rumored $100 billion. "We will invest a great deal of money, probably the largest investment we have ever made." What will be the future for OpenAI? What will be the future of OpenAI and its other computing AI companies? Well, the entire circus around artificial intelligence doesn't look to be ending anytime soon. Again, it doesn't look like to be ending anytime soon. Despite having no apparent path to profitability, insiders at companies like Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon, SoftBank, and various others are still lining up to burn cash on the chatbot maker. On the face of it, OpenAI could only realistically achieve serious returns for investors by replacing human workers at a scale unlike anything we have ever seen in history. The idea that OpenAI can possibly deliver on some of these sky-high valuations doesn't seem feasible without pandemic-scale automation being the real play here. If all ChatGPT ends up boiling down to is a better search engine, that hardly seems like enough to justify the frenzy revolving around it. Now, none of Sam Altman's loftier promises have come true. OpenAI has yet to deliver any real, tangible benefits for society at scale beyond novelties and modest productivity gains in document-heavy industries. Given how much large language models have actively cost run, it might simply end up not being worth the effort. Investors handed Microsoft a $440 billion wrote last week after the firm failed to show that its AI investments were delivering the types of returns that would justify its infrastructural capital expenditure. There's clearly going to be winners and losers as a result of this new competing paradigm, but increasingly it feels like these companies know something about OpenAI that the rest of us don't. So yeah, uh, well we know that OpenAI is at a red alert where they have started shuffling ads, where they have started shuffling ads, and not really started yet, but soon to shuffle ads on the chatbot. We know how ChatGPT is heading to right now, and that is right here, ladies and gentlemen, is where AI hype train is dying, right? Yeah. So, who really asked for this, right? Who really asked for this? Let us know in the comment section down below on your thoughts of, of this interesting NVIDIA and OpenAI relationship. Because, again, they denied that they were unhappy, and well, Jensen Huang, they called this, I would say, or he called this, yeah, where we were still working with them, but we will see how this train will last, because I am pretty sure that they're both burning their money at this point with OpenAI. Again, as I've discussed this last week, they OpenAI could be at risk of bankruptcy. Again, that is according to insiders. They knew what's coming. All right, on to another topic, and surprise, surprise, we are talking about Epstein files. Yes, we are talking about Epstein files. So Bill Gates has debunked its accusations, and he called it absolutely absurd. So this is coming from The Verge. Reports of Bill Gates' connections with Jeffrey Epstein grow more lurid with each dump of documents from the Department of Justice. The latest includes somewhat confusing emails that Epstein may have been drafting on behalf of someone named Boris, who worked at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The messages claim that Bill contracted an STD and wanted to how do I pronounce this one? Wait, how do I pronounce this? Hold on. How do I pronounce this? How do I pronounce this one?
Surreptitiously.
Surreptitiously. There we go. Right. Wanted to surreptitiously give Melinda antibiotics. It also claims that Bill had tresses with married women and Russian girls. In a statement to Business Insider, a spokesperson for Bill Gates said this: "These claims are absolutely absurd and completely false. The only thing these documents demonstrate is Epstein's frustration that he did not have an ongoing relationship with Gates and the lengths he would go to entrap and defame." It's unclear who the Boris reference in the email is, or if the messages were ever sent to anyone. Only Epstein is listed in the to and from fields. Gates' relationship with Epstein has become a major issue for the billionaire philanthropist. He initially downplayed his connections, but documents have suggested the two were closer than Gates admitted it. He has repeatedly denied associating with Epstein outside of fundraising and philanthropic efforts, and said their meetings were a huge mistake. However, Melinda Gates has stated that Bill's association with Epstein played a role in her decision to file for divorce. So this is what Jeffrey Epstein said, as you can see right here. I'm not gonna read it, but you get the idea. Here's another one. Absolute disgusting. But yeah, let's see what do they have to say. Okay, perfect underscore Squircle said that spokesperson did a great job and I have no further questions. Okay. But Great said, I truly wish everyone would stop calling this creepy guy a philanthropist. Melinda and I want to give away 1.5% of our fortune to help others. The Bill and Melinda Foundation is theirs. Any funds donated to that goes to them. It's the same thing as taking money out of your left pocket and putting it into your right pocket. Did you all not see his facial expression and response when COVID-19 struck? Just how happy he was that it happened, and his facial expression and response when he was asked to share his research RX to help end the sickness, etc. He wouldn't do it. Yeah. Let's move on. Bruh, this one will go VSET. Bruh, your ex-wife cited your connection to Epstein as one of the primary reasons she left you on national TV. It doesn't get more damning than that. Cool story, now lock him out. Okay, oh boy. Like we said, no matter who is in these halls, we want them held accountable. Include Bill Gates. Okay, so I won't go too much, but as you can see, people are saying in the comment section on The Verge that Bill Gates should be held accountable because he was included in the Epstein files. So whatever stays there. So yeah, I have no comment on that, but I'm handing over to you guys. Let us know in the comment section down below on your thoughts on Bill Gates being included in Epstein files. Oh Jesus Christ. Okay, it is now 6:58 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and we will be taking a break. But first, we have our Discord audience in our stage. So shout out to I think this is the same guy, but he just renamed his name. But yeah, shout out to Zalia, which is now known as Orima Asphere. So yeah, shout out to that person who is watching, who is tuning to our cafe tonight. And with that, we will be taking a break as we have more tech topics to discuss right here on Asphere's Cafe. But in the meantime, our sponsors, we have Delson, Asphere Appliances, Dream Cars Pizza, Capidon Coffee, St. John Simpos, Melody Mart, and Always Grocery. We will be right back right here on Cool FM and As Radio as Asphere's Cafe will have more topics to discuss. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And yes, we are back to Asphere's Cafe. It's now 7:12 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and now let's continue our tech topics right here on our cafe. And let's get my screen share back up. Well, what if I told you? What if I haven't told you right now as we are continuing our Epstein files our discovery, or I should say, what if I haven't told you right now as we're continuing on discovering Epstein files? And yes, I was joking, but he was banned from Xbox Live. Okay, so we will dive into this right here because yeah, isn't that shocking? Isn't it? But yeah, this is coming from The Verge. So, as spotted by Xbox Era, the latest batch of Epstein's email shows that in December 2013, he was permanently suspended due to harassment, threats, and/or abuse of other players. But it appears the real reason may be simpler. A second email from Microsoft to Epstein the very same day shows he was banned because he was a registered offender, and because Microsoft was among the companies that agreed to register 6 offenders from their systems. So you can see the first email right here. Yes, this is the first email from Microsoft to Epstein's email, and this is the notice that he got: permanent enforcement action, harassment, threats, or abuse. And if you go to the next email, here it is. This message is to notify you that Xbox Live has permanently suspended the Xbox Live account associated with this email address. This action is based on the New York Attorney General's partnership with Microsoft and other online gaming companies to remove New York registered offenders from online gaming services to minimize the risk of others, particularly children. As a result, Any Xbox Live account associated with this email address will not be able to connect to Xbox Live. If you have an Xbox Live Gold subscription or any unused Microsoft points, we are refunding the remaining value of those to you within 30 days. This is the real reason why he got banned. So it's not clear if he played Xbox himself though. In July 2014, he asked his executive assistant, "Do we have an Xbox 360 Connect?" And in 2016, this email appears to be a discussion on buying an Xbox as a surprise birthday gift or a board. In 2019, a message reads, "Why is there a $25.24 charge on Xbox?" Well, aren't we surprised, right? Well, let's see what they have to say about this. Microsoft has been banning registered offenders since 2012 and still do today, of course. EA, Sony, and Disney all do the same thing. Rare W. No wonder he had to blackmail Bill Gates. But yeah, this is crazy. No, really, it's crazy, isn't it, guys? It's crazy because he got his account banned because of that one thing that I'm not allowed to mention on our show or due to YouTube's policies, but you get the context what I'm saying here. All right, so yeah, man, wild shit, isn't it? But yeah. What are your thoughts on this one? Let us know in the comment section down below. And as we move on to the rest now, it looks like Lepoton has laid off 11% of its staff just a few months after launching its AI hardware. So Peloton said on last Friday that it's cutting around 11% of its staff, mostly impacting engineers working on technology and enterprise-related efforts, according to Bloomberg. Last August, Peloton laid off 6% of its workforce and told investors it would continue layoffs globally in 2026 in an attempt to cut at least $100 million of annual spending by the end of the fiscal year. Peloton's latest strategy shift to reverse the effect of its pandemic-era boom stalling out has also brought new hardware with Peloton IQ AI features. The cross-training series that debuted last October includes a new bike, Bike Plus, Tread Plus, and Row Plus that add real-time form feedback, workout analysts, and AI-generated workout routines as it increases its subscription prices. Sales have been on a persistent downward spiral, and Bloomberg noted an earlier report that initial sales of the AI-equipped gear have been sluggish. So the publication, or known as The Verge, contacted Peloton but has not heard anything as of this time. Well, yeah. What will be the fate? What will be the fate for Peloton? Is if you can guess, what will be the fate of this one? But yeah, let's know the thoughts on this one. Now, as we move on to Windows 11 related news, Microsoft has confirmed its wider release of the revamped start menu and explained why it redesigned the start again. So this is coming from Windows latest. So as you can see, it's now rightly rolling out as part of January update. So Microsoft told Windows latest, the redesigned start menu is now available to more devices. More users should begin seeing it gradually. And to note, this change began rolling out over the last week. Microsoft has been working on the new start menu for nearly a year now and has settled on the design after rejecting dozens of radical ideas. Thankfully, this new start menu isn't dramatically different from what we know, but if you truly dislike the existing version, odds are you won't prefer this UI either. So why did Microsoft prefer this design? Well, Microsoft said it wanted to keep the original start promise but make it work in a faster, noisier world. The company argues that it reads all user feedback in the feedback hub and has reached a few conclusions. First, the start menu should be quicker as it's the place where you begin on Windows 11. At the same time, it should feel more personal and calm, which is why it has those recommended items turned on by default. Also, there's a clear hierarchy. First, we have a search bar, then your fixed shortcuts, then recommended items, and finally everything else. The search bar is at the top because it allows you to quickly search and jump straight to your app, file, or image. Then we have the pin apps, and finally one of the most hated recommended feeds. Microsoft argues that it added a recommended feed to the start menu because users wanted smart suggestions. The company said recommendations made just for you that learn in real time and a way to hide them if you don't find them useful. Previously, it was not possible to hide the recommended feed, but now you can. So this is how the start menu looks like without the recommended feed, and I can say it is much cleaner than the previous Windows 11 start menu. It really is. And then you have step by step on how to turn off recommendations right here. Next, Microsoft says and move the apps from the all list to the home of the start menu because users ask for easier app discovery. The company also created a new category view so you could see all your apps at once while scrolling through a long list, which is something users hated it. At the same time, Microsoft admitted that it wanted the start menu's apps list to be reminiscent of your phone, which is why some of you might find the new category or category UI similar to iOS. So this, for your reference, this is what it looks like. So Microsoft said all apps brought up to the top level in 3 views, including a category grid view that prioritizes your most used apps reminiscent of your phone, no more marathon scrolling. And finally, Microsoft made the phone link panel an optional panel that glides in and stays out of the way. The company said in the document a slim phone silver that glides in from the edge, there when you need it, gone when you don't. Again, Microsoft made all these changes based on feedback from testers, but the company won't tell us why it wouldn't listen to the feedback, including the most upvoted feedback that demands the ability to move the taskbar. In fact, Windows 10 says that it won't let you move the taskbar because that will break the animation or UI UX flow. Regardless, you can go back to the old start menu, which is Windows 10, unless you manually disable with a third-party open source tool, which will eventually stop working. So, what do people say about this? Well, didn't Microsoft want to separate jump list from everything else? I believe I read something about it a long time ago. The fact they have not changed it until now means it probably will never be implemented. What was wrong with the classic start menu? Did Microsoft get rid of their senior devs? Well, some aren't liking it from what I'm seeing here. So yeah, now we know that they're finally rolling out the updated Windows 11 start menu, and oh boy, in my this is my opinion, okay? This is my opinion. I say it's much better now, and at least I can no longer see the recommended feed that I don't need. So it's just all in one place. So I get to see apps. So I get to see apps, which apps I can open, which one I want to. But yeah, pretty good in my opinion. That's all I can say. Pretty good in my opinion. Alright, so what are your thoughts on Microsoft rolling out a new update that brings the revamped Windows 11 Start menu? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And aside from the Start menu that I just talked about just now, well, Microsoft finally is waking up from the dead, it seems, as they heard your concerns loud and clear, and they're gonna fix Windows 11. And what's even better, they are going to cut down on AI features. So, Windows 11's reputation hit a record low in 2025 after a steady stream of major issues turned what should have been a stable OS into a testing ground for broken updates. Windows latest compiled a list of 20 major Windows 11 update issues in 2025, but there were many more, to be honest. Well, to make matters worse, Microsoft told the world that its intention with Windows was to turn it into an agentic OS, which of course, if you remember seeing on X, people are calling him out against agentic OS. They didn't ask for that. They knew. The company was too busy chasing the AI PC dream, shuffling Copilot into places where it didn't belong, like Notepad, so much so that basic functionality suffered in Windows 11. Of course, they did, but that might finally be turning around, it seems. So, in a candid admission that has surprised many of us, Microsoft has confirmed that it's hitting the brakes on its aggressive feature expansion to focus on making Windows work as it should. In statements to Notepad and The Verge, Windows lead Pavan Davuluri acknowledged the pain points users have been screaming about for years. The company is now deploying a strategy known internally as swarming, where engineering resources are rapidly redirected to address the core reliability and performance issues that have plagued the OS. This is what Pavan Davuluri said, who is the president of Windows and Devices of Microsoft. The feedback we are receiving from our community of passionate customers and Windows insiders has been clear. We need to improve Windows in ways that are meaningful for people. This year, you will see us focus on addressing pain points we hear consistently from customers, improving system performance, reliability, and the overall experience of Windows. Along its rekindled focus on fixing core Windows problems, Microsoft is also quietly stepping back from its AI-first approach for Windows 11. According to a report by journalist Zach Bowen from Windows Central, the company is now re-evaluating how Copilot and other AI features fit into Windows 11 after months of backlash from users who felt the OS was being turned into a test ground for half-baked ideas. The trust issues first started with Windows Recall in 2024, which was delayed by an entire year after users raised serious privacy and security concerns. Instead of learning from that response, Microsoft doubled down in 2025 by placing Copilot buttons across built-in apps like Notepad, Paint, and File Explorer, even when the integrations were intrusive and added little to no real value. Unsurprisingly, this backfired, which it did. The crisis point came in November when Windows President Pavan Davuluri publicly talked about turning Windows into an engineering OS and was met with thousands of negative replies, prompting him to turn off replies in his X post. That reaction appears to have forced internal teams to rethink their strategy. Sources familiar with Microsoft's plans say that several Copilot integrations are now under review. Features inside apps like Notepad and Paint may be removed, redesigned, or stripped of Copilot breading. Microsoft has also reportedly paused work on adding new Copilot buttons to system apps for the time being, that is. And as for Windows Recall, it is also getting reworked and being reconsidered, as it seems. Internally, Microsoft considers that the present setup of Recall has not delivered. The company is exploring ways to rework the feature entirely, maybe even abandoning the Recall name in the future due to its negative press. But take this with a grain of salt. Also, none of this means that Microsoft is abandoning AI altogether. Technologies like semantic search, Windows Machine Learning or ML, agentic workspace, and developer-facing AI APIs are still moving forward. The difference is that these tools operate mostly in the background instead of being forced into everyday workflows. Microsoft definitely has to stand strong against its fast-moving competitors, including macOS, with its updated Apple Intelligence courtesy of Google's Gemini. Either way, if this reset is real, it could mark the end of Copilot being shoved into every corner of Windows. But whether when users will trust Microsoft again after years of over-promising and under-delivering remains an open question. And that brings us to another uncomfortable reality for Microsoft. Now, yes, Windows 11 achieved 1 billion users, but not much love. Even as Windows 11 suffers from persistent quality and trust issues, it recently hit a major adoption milestone that Microsoft will happily highlight. During its fiscal second quarter of 2026 earnings, the company confirmed that Windows 11 is running on over 1 billion devices worldwide, reaching the mark in about 130 days faster than Windows 10. On paper, this makes Windows 11 one of Microsoft's most widely adopted OS versions, but reaching 1 billion users does not mean the OS is loved or trusted. Many users only moved to Windows 11 because Windows 10 support ended. Now, people don't trust Windows or Microsoft for that matter, of course, because it has eroded for predictable reasons, such as the persistent bugs, poor update quality, and basic functionality getting worse. So, the first Windows 11 update of 2026. Okay, mind you guys, mind you. This is the only first Windows update, and it already has issues with the update. Okay, forcing emergency out of band patches to fix shutdown issues and crashes in cloud apps like OneDrive and Dropbox. A second emergency update was needed days later to fix even more issues. On top of that, recent security updates removed legacy modem drivers, unexpectedly disabling older hardware. Microsoft also confirmed black screen of death and boot failures after the January security update, with recovery options still uncertain for some systems. Aside, it's just aside, when the OS becomes a sales channel for all their other products like Copilot, OneDrive, and Microsoft 365, Microsoft can't expect users to trust Windows anymore. While the company reported strong overall revenues with cloud services and enterprise products continuing to grow, its more personal compute division, which includes Windows Service and Gaming, declined year over year. Windows OEM revenue showed only modest growth. Even with 1 billion users, Microsoft cannot make meaningful revenue from AI if users don't trust the platform, which might be the big reason for the newfound focus to make Windows trustworthy. And also, it will be a year, 2026, where Microsoft finally fixes gaming on Windows. So in summer 2025, Windows latest reported that Microsoft had finally admitted Windows 11 needs serious performance improvements, especially for gaming. The company outlined a new performance fundamentals approach for 2026, focused on background workload management, power and scheduling tweaks, graphics stack optimizations, and better driver coordination. For 2026, Microsoft is promising to stop Windows from getting in the way when a game is running. We will also get to see tangible features arriving this year. The Xbox full screen experience, which started as a handheld-only UI, is coming to all Windows devices. Users have complained about inconsistent frame pacing, sudden CPU spikes, poor battery life on handhelds, and performance drops caused by background services. Microsoft knows it is losing ground to dedicated handhelds like the Steam Deck and consoles like the PS5. With a large chunk of gamers still clinging to Windows 10, the company has no choice but to prove that Windows 11 can offer better performance. Well, if you remember Windows 8.1, well, Windows 8 is calling for Windows 11.1. Well, technically not 11.1, but more like service pack worthy update that could fix all Windows 11 issues. So we need a Windows 11.1 moment, and I agree what they said. So let's continue. Microsoft is at a crossroads. The swarming strategy and the retreat from intrusive AI are the first real signs that the company understands just how much trust it lost in 2025. Well, remember Windows 8? I mean, I would admit I do like Windows 8. Let's be honest, I like Windows 8. To be fair, it's just it's poorly marketed. It's just Microsoft couldn't do it properly. But Windows 8 was alright, I guess. But yeah, so Windows 8, the original Windows 8 had a focus on touch-enabled devices where there was no start menu, but they later brought it back in 8.1 update. And now Windows 11 needs its own 8.1 moment, a soft reboot that stops trying to sell us an AI feature we didn't ask for and starts delivering the stable, fast, and coherent operating system we actually need. Well, with Microsoft being Microsoft, if they ever stick to their plans for 2026, stripping back the bloat and finally optimizing the core performance, they might just win us back. But if it slips back, users would continue to look elsewhere, like macOS for work, SteamOS for gaming, or Linux for everything else. Yes, Linux for everything else. So if you have been watching tech videos lately on YouTube, you might have noticed on your recommendations that you will see Linux related videos. Are you tired of Windows? You should move to Linux. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I get it. I also get those types of videos too, but I still watch them, but that didn't affect me in either way because I still use Windows anyway. But I understand where they're coming from. I know their insights. I know how people reacted to. We all are watching right now. So yeah, this is though this is where Microsoft needs to fix Windows 11. Listen to their feedback. Please, Microsoft. Just please, Microsoft. Just listen to their feedback. Be honest. Be accountable. You do better. Yeah, do better. Well, again, with Microsoft being Microsoft, will we ever get a real fix? We don't know. But again, knowing how much their trust has gone down, it might take a very long time to recover. So yeah, let us know in the comment section down below on your thoughts on that. And actually, we have one more to discuss, and that is the 26H2 that is set to be rolled out later this year. So, so Windows 11 26H2 is going to be known as 26300.7674, which is a significant jump in the build number and likely signals a new Windows update, not a cumulative update. So yeah, in fact, Microsoft made that quite obvious by confirming its testing behind the scenes platform changes for Windows Insiders. So if you are part of the Windows Insiders program, if you use the latest build, you can head over to your settings and find Finder, and you have to go to install updates, and you'll see there is a reference there that says feature enablement for Windows GE26H2 Insider Refresh. So this is the first time we're seeing references to 26H2, as the alt support documents only mention 26H1 or 25H2. At the moment, the Windows 11 26H2 reference does not show up in settings, system, about, or WinVer, but that will likely change as newer builds roll out. So, also the Windows Update page describes 26300.7674 as an enablement package for Windows 11 26H2. An enablement package usually means it will be a minor release, but it's probably still too early to decide. Also, an enablement package release does not necessarily mean Windows won't get new features in 2026. Well, it will be yet another big year for Windows 11, where they will still be bringing Copilot, but not most as we just reported earlier. But and this right here is Copilot in File Explorer right here, and a Copilot on the taskbar. Agenda view, well, which isn't AI powered. That's the actual quality of life change there. But there's a catch, it's going to be based on WebView 2, which will use up more RAM. And you have a modern run dialog, which I say it's actually a good change. So this is how it works. So yeah, Windows 11 is also testing a new optional modern Windows run that will replace the legacy run when you specifically turn modern run in settings advanced. So if I go to my settings, I'm not sure if I have one in my Windows installed right now. Let's go to System, Advanced. Yeah, I don't see modern run in my advanced tab. So it is pretty limited to insiders, if I'm not mistaken. So how do you get this? Well, it's it's going to be. I don't know if this article mentions insider only or whatnot, but from what I'm seeing it again in my settings app, I'm not seeing it I'm not seeing it there. So yeah, again, if I go to system and go to events, yeah, no modern run dialog. It's not there in my end. So yeah, other than that, non-AI enhanced, non-AI new features, non-AI features will be this: agenda view coming to Windows 11 Notifications Center, but web view 2 based, modern run dialog, and that's pretty much it. And as well as other changes that not mentioned, which will be the Xbox full screen experience, .webp as desktop backgrounds, and many more. But yeah, the two non-AID features are better than I thought, but the first two is completely with just AI powered. So yeah, at least we do know that 26H2 will be coming around the corner later this year, but we don't know when. But if I have to guess, it's most likely going to be released around October. But yeah, 26H1 is going to be exclusive to Snapdragon or Windows on ARM Silicon chips. It will not be rolled out to general public. Again, it's only going to be exclusive to newer Windows on ARM chips, or I should say, new Snapdragon X2 chips. But yeah, there you go. Now we know that. Now once again, now we know that the Windows 11 26H2 exists, which it will be released later this year. And now for the smartphone news, and no one is surprised, right? Because Motorola doesn't promise any Android OS upgrades for its latest budget phones and chips with Android 15, and that is G17. So the modest handset costs £149.99 in the UK and looks pretty okay for that price tag. It has a 6.72-inch Full HD Plus display, a 5200 mAh battery, a MediaTek Helio G81 chip, 4 GB of RAM, and a 50 megapixel Sony Latia camera on the back with a 5 megapixel ultra wide, has a headphone jack, and comes in some fun colors too. The Moto G17 Power has the same core package but with a bigger 600 mAh battery. But the software situation is an absolute mess. Motorola is shipping the G17 Duo with Android 15 out of the box, which at this point is very out of date. Android 16 was released in June 2025, 7 months ago, and is already on 7.5% of active Android devices. Shipping a brand new smartphone with Android 15 in 2026 is just wild. Which, yeah, why would any of smartphone manufacturers still ship Android 15 when Android 16 is out already for not too long ago, right? It's just absurd. It's just absurd. Now, what's even more infuriating is that it lacks any mention of software updates and buries the fact that these phones ship with Android 15. And on listings for the G17 in France, Germany, and Finland, there's not even a mention of how long security updates will continue. Motorola was also fairly quiet regarding OS updates for its new Moto G 2026 releases in the US, but they do get 2 years of OS updates. At the very least, they ship with Android 16 out of the box. So Google does have some requirements around security updates on Android devices, but there's nothing really stopping Motorola from putting out a release like this with an outdated Android version and no promises of the future, at least outside of customer reactions. So, well, if you have if you're planning on buying a budget Motorola phone, well, don't expect any longer software updates along with security updates, because they aren't disclosing for some reason, and we are not sure why they're doing this. But yeah, it's pretty messy. If you are expecting a longer software support like Samsung, well, this is not the case for Motorola, unfortunately. Alright, moving on to the next one. Well, it's time for another YouTube shit, and that is Google cracking down on free YouTube background playback loopholes. So this is coming from GSM Arena. Most users tend to associate and purchase YouTube Premium to purchase ads on the public platform, which I am one of them. However, there are a few other features Google locks behind that paywall as well, most notably background playback. Well, that said, for quite some time now, crafty developers and their respective users have enjoyed ways of getting the feature for free. The simplest approach was to use a third-party browser like Samsung Internet, Brave, or Viva Foldy, to name a few, to play content in the background. After an avalanche of user reports over the past few days, Google has finally confirmed that it is cracking down on such loopholes for background playback. So this is what a Google spokesperson said. Background playback is a feature intended to be exclusive for YouTube Premium members. While some non-premium members or users may have previously been able to access through this mobile web browsers in certain scenarios, we have updated the experience to ensure consistency across all our platforms. So, we're not sure how many users this change affects, but it is Google's prerogative to take such actions. So, well, I'm not surprised because YouTube wants your money and they want to make a good profit of it. Hence, they need to lock it behind. But I still find this crazy. Like, it's only been crazy that YouTube has finally cracked down on it. So, womp womp womp. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna say right here, as a YouTube Premium user, I just don't like anti-consumer protests like this one. I'm not a fan. Okay, absolutely not. What Google or YouTube has been doing there, or what Google or YouTube has been doing with this one. I'm not a fan. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of this change. Coming from a YouTube Premium user. And finally, before we head to commercial break, Google reveals how many devices are already running Android 16, and here are your pie charts. So, starting with Android 16, we have 7.5% of devices running Android 16, 90.3% of devices running Android 15, 17.2% of devices running Android 14, 13.9% of devices running Android 13, 11.4% of devices running Android 12, 13.7% of devices running Android 11, 7.8% of devices running Android 10, Android 9 with 4.5% of devices, 8.1 Oreo with 2.3% of devices, and the rest of older versions of Android with 2.4% running off devices. So yeah. It's a quite huge number. And if we go further down here, this is the rest of the numbers. So with the standard Android with 8, it's 0.8%. 7 nougat, 6 marshmallow. Sorry, 7 nougat, 7 nougat, 6 marshmallow. 0.4%. 5.1 lollipop, 0.3%, and Android 5.0 lollipop, 0.1%. So yeah, as you can see, I'm still quite shocked to say the least that they're still relying on Android 13 and 11 to this day. Like myself, I mean Android 13 is still holding up well in 2006 to be honest, and it still does. So yeah. Who knows when will that change next year? We don't know, but only time will tell because more and more people are holding to their older devices for long until they can upgrade to the newer phone. So by the time we get a newer pie chart, I can expect the numbers to go down for the older versions. Well, I believe that Android 10 will slightly decline. There you go. Alright, It is now 7:49 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and we will be taking our last commercial break because coming up later on Asper's Cafe, we'll be taking a look at the weekly smartphone polls courtesy of GSM Arena. What are the results from last week, and what will be the poll for this week, along with other tech topics, as well as me scrolling to Reddit about everything related to technology. So in the meantime, we'll be right back right here on Cool FM and AspMedia because again, we have a lot of topics to tackle right here. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay along with us. And we are back. It is now 8:02 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and we are now on the last round of our tech topics to talk about right here on Asphere's Cafe. So once again, let's get my screen share back up and running. Okay, so as you are seeing on my screen share, well, we have some results for its weekly fall from GSM Arena. The Realme 16 Pro Plus needs a price cut to succeed, while the 16 Pro or the regular 16 Pro needs a miracle. So it seems that makers are having a hard time hitting the right price for their new smartphones, a problem that will only get worse as the memory shortages start to affect production. We're not there yet, but last week's poll shows that Realme missed the mark with the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Plus. At least the latter has a shot given the right promotional discount. While the Realme 16 Pro Plus scored pretty low, a good number of people are willing to have a second look after the price falls to more reasonable levels. So here are your results for the Realme 16 Pro Plus. Will you be buying the Realme 16 Pro Plus? And here are the results. Let's start with yes, I want one. 66 votes. I wish it's not available near me with 42 votes. No, not at this price with 135 votes. I want the Realme 16 Pro instead with 4 votes. There are better phones for this price at 194 votes. I don't want a mid-ranger at 85 votes. And none of the above at 71 votes. So for the pie chart, yes, I want one is sitting at 11%. I wish but not available near me at 7%. No, not at this price at 22.5%. I want the Realme 16 Pro instead. No number, but it's very short. There are better phones for this price, which is at 32.4%. I don't want a mid-ranger sitting at 14.2%, and none of the above at 11.9%. Interestingly, the 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera caught the most flack. The Pro Plus is just too expensive to have an 8 megapixel sensor on board, even if it's in the ultra-wide module, which some see as the least important camera. Not what Commander had anything bad to say about the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4. The Realme 16 Pro may be cheaper, but it also loses some important hardware, so the value for money equation is still off balance. Again, people hammered the 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, while the Dimensity 73000 Max chipset didn't even get a mention. So here is your result for the Realme 16 Pro. Yes, I won one with 4.1%, 12 votes. I wish it's not available near me at 14 votes, 4.8%. Maybe I'll wait for reviews at 18 votes, 6.2%. No, not at this price at 36 votes, 12.4%. I won the Reno 16 Pro Plus instead at 20 votes, 6.9%. There are better phones for this price, 160 votes at 40%. I don't want a mid-ranger at 45 votes at 15.5%, and none of the above at 29 votes with 10%. This suggests that Realme nearly had the right formula. It's just that it went too far with the price savings on certain components. That can't be helped now, but the price of the two models can certainly come down. Even then, it seems that only the Realme 16 Pro Plus will be getting any attention. So these are your results from last week, and yep, both phones need some work, it seems, according to you guys. Now, for this week's weekly smartphone poll, how important is magnetic wireless charging to you? Well, Apple introduced MagSafe wireless charging in 2020 with the iPhone 12 series. In contrast to regular wireless charging, it uses magnets that rather than relying on manual alignment between the charging coils or on gravity to keep the phone and charger together. It is a simple, cheap, and effective solution. So why is it that smartphone makers have been so reluctant to adopt it, even years after the QoS standard officially added a magnetic charging profile? Perhaps it's better to ask this instead. Do you care whether your phone has magnets for wireless charging? Well, first, a bit of history. The HMD Skyline was the first Android to feature built-in magnets. But then, several Chinese makers adopted a half-measure magnets inside select case. But now, Google has jumped on the bandwagon with the Pixel 10 series and Pixel Snap accessories. Also, Samsung's magnet wireless charger has already surfaced ahead of the Galaxy S26 series launch. So you can see this is Google's take on Apple MagSafe, and this is what their take looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So because Android makers drag their feet, Android phones have been missing out on all that. And the better wireless charging, of course, because misaligned coils means heat and loss efficiency. So, how important will the presence or lack of magnetic charging support be when you start looking for your next phone? That's your question, and here are your options. Once again, how important is magnetic wireless charging to you? First option, my next phone must have magnetic charging built in. Second option, it's important, but I'm okay with using magnetic cases. Third option, it's nice to have, but not a deal breaker. Fourth option, I want magnets but for mounting, but not for charging. Fifth option, I don't need magnetic charging or accessories. And the last option, none of the above. So that is your weekly poll for this week. And if you think magnetic wireless charging is important for your next smartphone upgrade, go ahead and vote it right now on the website, that is GSM Arena. I'll be leaving the link in the Lamau chat right now, so you all can vote. If you are interested, if you are interested in voting whether your next smartphone upgrade should have a wireless charging or magnetic wireless charging support, I'll be leaving in the show notes if I have time. But I'll also be leaving it in the Lamau chat as well, as if you will be getting your next smartphone will have magnetic wireless charging. Alright, and for the replay viewers and listeners, let us know in the comment section down below. Will you be getting your next smartphone that comes with magnetic wireless charging? And yes, how important is it? I would love to know. Alright, and now let's head over to the rest of the smartphone news. It looks like, according to Mark Gurman from Bloomberg, Apple is actively exploring a flip-style foldable iPhone. So the last few months have been filled with rumors for the iPhone Fold, which is expected to launch later this year. But Apple is reportedly exploring options for a more compact entry. According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, Cupertino is already exploring options to bring a square clamshell-like iPhone to the market. Its development is reportedly under consideration inside Apple Labs. Gurman did not provide any additional details or a potential launch date for the iPhone Flip, and also mentioned that there is no guarantee it will actually come to the market. Apple will first have to test the market with its book-style iPhone Fold and see how consumers respond. A flip-style folding iPhone has been rumored to be in development for a few years now, with previous reports suggesting that Apple has at least 2 prototype options or versions. Cupertino was even expected to launch a flip-style fold before a book-style one. So this is your DIY foldable iPhone from 2022, and that goes by the credit under Tech Aesthetics. So if you have an idea how it looks like, this is what it looks like. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Apple exploring an idea that could possibly turn into a reality in the near future? Let us know in the comment section down below. And now I see Don't Go Sue in the live chat. Hello, man. Welcome to our cafe. I'm sorry if I haven't had time to read your comments, but I only just opened the live chat, and yeah. All right. So for the start menu, for what I talked about earlier, well, yes, they revamped the start menu, and I already have it in my system, and it works really well. I have everything that works for me. I don't get to see unnecessary recommended clutter, which it should be off from the start menu, and yeah, I can turn it off, and it is what it is. It's my favorite preferences there. And less AI about the less AI. Again, with the audacity of Microsoft being Microsoft, well, there I don't know if they're still going to double down on AI, but as we read the report earlier about the AI being cut back on Windows 11, well, this is a start that they're facing a harsh reality check. So we'll see how that goes. If Microsoft is really going to focus less on AI, but as far as we're concerned, they're not going to stop on pushing AI anytime soon. And bruh, Windows 11 is like their only. Yes, it is true because Windows 10 outside LTLC versions reach end of support, thus forcing people. If you have your older system, you're forced to move forward to Linux or move to Windows 10 LTLC or even Windows 11 LTLC if you can do it yourself, or heck, you could even move to Linux if you want to. But yeah, outside LTLC versions, I can only say right now that Windows 11 is their only supported Windows operating system to date right now. And for his thoughts on the magnetic wireless charging poll that I covered earlier, this is what he said. I personally don't need magnetic wireless charging. I'm not gonna lie. All right. I mean, yeah, makes sense. I mean, I'm just saying it's nice to have. I'm just saying it's nice to have, but again, knowing this is exclusive to iPhone, not technically exclusive to iPhone, but knowing that they have already certified it for other phone manufacturers to step in. Well, if you know, you know. So, yeah. I mean, if your next smartphone upgrade does have magnetic wireless charging, I mean, yeah, it's nice to have, but do you really need one? That is up to you. Yeah, that's up to you. If you ask yourself, it's up to you. And yeah, and about the Windows 11 that I just discussed earlier. Maybe once Windows force me to update, maybe once Windows force me to update my OS, I'll get that. Okay, that's up to you if you want to. But I mean, it's your choice, really. I'm not forcing you to update your operating system. Again, it's your control, it's your PC, your choice. I'm not forcing you to upgrade. We might even get GTA 6. Oh boy, I doubt, because what if we get another delay? Let's bet this one. What if we have yet to have another delay of GTA 6 before Windows 12 comes out? Well, I highly doubt. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. This honestly feels like the Galaxy Fold. Sure, it's a flexible foldable screen, but it's not even practical to use. Well, I would say that foldable devices have been mainstream for quite some time now. Especially, I have seen people holding Galaxy Fold outside while I was in the event at that time. So it shows that people are actively using their foldable devices. Does Rockstar often delay their game releases? Well, with the GTA 6 in right around the corner, well, there was the first delay and the second delay, which is right here, and now I'm not sure if there will be a third delay. Well, do they often really delay their game releases? That I don't really know. But as far as I'm concerned with GTA 6 getting delayed again for the third time or whatever the heck is right here, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't think they have delayed the releases before outside GTA 6. Well, I might be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong, Tonko. Tonkosu, yeah. I mean, they're not like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Alright, now let's move on back to the topic and let's move on to the next one. Well, it looks like the Galaxy Unpacked 2026 invite leaks. Yep, the invite letter or event invite has been leaked according to Trusted Tipper. So, Tipper Event Blast has shared the invite on X, revealing that the upcoming Galaxy Unpacked event is scheduled for February 25. However, the leak poster does not disclose the event's location, which is you can see it's censored for reasons. Alongside the Galaxy S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra, Samsung is also expected to unveil the Galaxy Buds 4 series at the Unpack event. Previous rumors have also suggested that for the Unpack event, that the sales will be kicking off in early March. Samsung recently confirmed one of the marquee features of the Galaxy S26 being the privacy display. So, what even is the privacy display? Well, you can see this is basically your screen being off, but you being off to others, but only you can see the screen. How does this work? Well, you can have it on for specific apps or only when entering access details for more private areas of your phone. You can also only protect specific parts of your experience such as notification pop-ups. So Samsung rightfully builds this as a tailored approach, one that you can fine-tune or switch off entirely when you want to, rather than a blanket on or off solution that's provided by a privacy screen protector that you apply to your device's display. Well, Samsung's solution, according to the rumors, is built into the screen itself, hence why it's so customizable. Well, for that technology on how it worked, it took them 5 years. Yes, 5 years of engineering, testing, and refining, and now we are almost there. So, if you look very closely, this is a person looking at his phone while your point of view is behind the seat. Look with a person holding the S26. You cannot even see what he's doing on his phone, right? And I suspect that only a person who holding a phone right now can see which app is open, while the rest you cannot see it. And I think this is a very genius idea. And I think this is what we call a new technology that we asked for. Yeah, this is what I call this non-AI technology that I find to be very interesting. So, yeah, for the privacy display, I will say this is going to be exclusive to the S series for now, future S series phones for now. It's not gonna come to the Galaxy A phones for a bit longer. But if Samsung does decide to release it to the mid-range smartphones, if the feature ends up being successful, well, this is going to be one of a hell right, and people are going to be applaud for this one. So this is gonna be cool, and yeah, this technology, ladies and gentlemen, is what I call very interesting. As you can see, I was right. Thundercrack R said, "This is actually innovation. Congratulations!" Waiting for the others to copy in 2 to 3 years. Yes, yes. As I was saying, I guessed it right. It's actually technology. But yeah, the comments right there I'm reading are just arguments, blah blah blah. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so this is the first one I'm seeing here. Excellent and useful feature for the real world. For the real world. Real world. Yeah. Again, we will see how this plays out. But again, if this is actually a good innovation, then I will applaud Samsung for doing that, for their effort. Unlike other companies that are just doubling it on AI. So yeah, if all goes well, this is huge. again, I can expect the privacy display feature to be showcased at in their Galaxy Unpack event. Again, we don't know, but I'm pretty sure 50-50 that it's going to be showcased in their upcoming Unpack event that will be taking place on February 25. So yeah, now we know the date on Samsung's next Unpack event. What will you be expecting for the Unpack event? Let us know in the comments section down below. Aside from the privacy display that I just talked right here. Yeah, let us know in the comments. And as I'm going to be reading the live chat, okay, so Tongo's reaction to private display, he said this. Wow, so like low brightness? Not, not, not. Well, it's somewhat in the other way, but with the display technology covering the entire screen to others, while the screen will still be visible to you as you holding the phone. I mean, yeah, it's gonna work as if the phone was off to others while the screen was on to you. Yeah, I know. And for what he's in for the comment that he said, oh, that long. Yeah, it took them 5 years. I said it. Yeah, I said it right here. I said it. It took them 5 years of making it work. 5 years. I know. It's crazy. It took that long. It's crazy. I know. But it's gonna be worth it if they can pull it off successfully. And I think this is what I'm looking forward to. I wonder how would that actually work once the privacy display feature yet releases. Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see how Samsung is going to showcase a privacy display feature. I mean, we're only like weeks before the unpack event, so it won't be that long, really. So yeah, again, it will not be that long. Alright, so yeah, there you go. That is all for the smartphone news. And now, as I will be scrolling through the Reddit for the last 6 minutes, here we are. Let's start off with the r/tech_Philippines. So, steal or no? Let me see. So this OP posted this, and he wants to go with Pay Later. No contacts, I guess, but what did he say? So he's planning to get iPhone 15 for his family. Is it worth it or whatever? So this is what Unica TV said. Last week it went down to 30K, but it was still for 33,000 pesos. And now I get it. I got my iPhone 16 only for 38,000 pesos last week. Yeah. Well, I would say, yeah, go for it. If you have enough budget, go for it. Be careful on buying. Okay, well, this is shocking. So, what you are seeing on the screen is basically they reprogram the serial number, or I should say, they managed to reprogram the purchase date to 1985. How the heck is this possible? So obviously it's in Tagalog, but if I can translate to you guys, I wish. But as you can see, so what OP was saying is that last May 2025 he bought his MacBook from that store, and he called if it's pre-activated. And he said this. He said he said it was all working fine. He was using it for work until he encountered an issue last month, where he couldn't use the MagSafe 3 cable, and he had to determine if it's not accepting any charge anymore. And so his first initial thought is to take it to the authorized Apple service centers. And when he double checked his warranty coverage, it expired in the year 1985. What the heck? 1985? What the heck? So what he did was to contact the same seller where he got his MacBook from, and it was really hard to contact. It took days before they replied, and he's asking for official receipt, but it's not available. So yeah, his conclusion says all in all, the laptop is usable, but sadly he cannot use it. He cannot claim the warranty. So be careful when you're buying online, and or if you are still going to, make sure you ask the seller first and confirm if they offer the official receipt, which is very important, by the way, because if you care about warranty, at least you need to have your official receipt stored in. You have to request for official receipt. I believe requesting for the receipt here in the Philippines is pretty mandatory when it comes to big purchases, really. So you have to request for official receipt for warranty purposes. So as pointed out by random Burago 6145, you get DTI involved. They do not allow merchants not having a receipt. That's true. That's true. The date is a classic indicator of being the demo unit. Okay, this is interesting. So that MacBook was a demo unit. Okay, I get it now. That is interesting. That's interesting. And looks like I think I'm running out of time, but let's see if there's anything you need to look at r/internetph. Ignore the ad, by the way. I have the ad blocker, but it's taking a while to block it. But yeah, I don't think there's anything worth to talk. Oh yeah, I wish I could talk about it, but I'm running out of time. Well, I'll deal with this one tomorrow as to why all of major network providers don't here in the Philippines don't have RCS or rich communication services enabled now. What the heck happened? Well, I'll talk about it more tomorrow. So yeah, it is now 8:29 p.m. Philippine Standard Time, and well, what a way to end our coffee, ladies and gentlemen. As we say, yeah, what a way to end our coffee. Right. Well, unfortunately, I had to use my TOC account because apparently I have suffered some technical difficulties with my Discord after quitting screen sharing. So I will have to do a take two on my closing spiel. So sorry if I'm going a little bit over time, but yeah, as I was saying, yeah, I was shouting. I was just shouting out to our fellow Discord audiences, which was who were there, and of course, to Tongo, who was watching via YouTube. So shout out to you, man, and again, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you all. But yeah, again, unfortunately, my main Discord account and my main Discord client somewhat stopped working after I stopped screen sharing, so that's why it went a bit dead silent. My deep apologies for that. And with that, that brings us to the end of Asphere's Coffee. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, or wherever you are, or listening day or night. We will be back again tomorrow with more tech cafe right here on Asphere's Cafe. Coming up next on As Radio is Tech One Save Us, and over on Cool FM will be the music videos all the way until 10 p.m. before Talk with Sen. So this has been Asper's Cafe. I am Cairo, and the cafe is now closed. We will be seeing you tomorrow. The cafe is over. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.